drugs. Okay. And now I'm going to bring on our next speaker, Assemblyman Achadian. I hope I'm saying that correctly. In 1971, Mr. Achadian came to California to complete his education and to pursue the American dream. He carried with him a distinctive work ethic instilled in him by his Armenian parents in Lebanon, an ethic that has served him well in his roles as businessman, community volunteer, and legislator. On December 17, 1982, a day that serves as a continuous source of pride for him, he became a United States citizen.
Woo!
On December... Go ahead, yes. All very proud of our citizenship in this wonderful country. On December 3rd, 2012, he was sworn in for his second term as Assemblyman to represent the 35th Assembly District in the California Legislature, serving the commission of Arroyo Grande, Atascadero, Grover Beach, Guadalupe, Lompoc, Morro Bay, Paso Robles, Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Maria. He knows firsthand how difficult the legislature has made it to create and retain jobs in California. He founded a successful small business in 1978 and has built it up to employ some 30 workers at 3 locations. In the Assembly, he is fighting to reduce the burdens of mandates, regulations, and taxes that are driving businesses and jobs away.
Woo!
Prior to his election to the legislature, Mr. Achadian served for 3 terms as an elected member of the San Luis Obispo County Board of Supervisors. As a member of the board, he helped craft and secure passage of balanced and on-time budgets for 12 straight years and built up county reserves. I like that. He fought hard to protect taxpayers' property rights and public safety while holding down the cost of government. As a longtime member of the NRA and a lifelong supporter of our Second Amendment rights, he does not believe that the legislature should approve legislation which would unnecessarily infringe upon the rights of law-abiding gun owners. Rather than focusing efforts on restricting the rights of law-abiding citizens to own firearms, Cacho believes legislatures should work harder to keep firearms out of the hands of criminals and those deemed mentally unfit.
Good.
A passionate advocate for farmers and ranchers throughout the Central Coast region, Governor Pete Wilson recognized his grasp of the county's agricultural issues by appointing him to the San Luis Obispo County Fair Board. He served from 1982 to 1999 and as board chair in 1995. Reforming government to make it more efficient and accountable to taxpayers, cutting wasteful spending and programs, and making California's economy more competitive for job creation are some of his top legislative priorities. Fighting hard on behalf of working families in the Central Coast, he currently serves as chair of the Assembly Local Government Committee and is member of the Assembly Committees on Joint Legislative Audit, Accountability and Administrative Review, Transportation, and Banking and Finance. I'm proud to introduce Assemblyman Cacho Achadian. Please make him welcome.
If you say that, it will come handy for my family to use it as my obituary. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam is a hard act to follow, and few of us had invited him to come and speak to us in Sacramento. I think he serves the purpose very well, and very proud to have him here today. First of all, let me look at the veterans and say thank you for your services and sacrifices. Without it, somebody with my background wouldn't be able to stand here and represent this golden state of ours we call California.
Yes.
Thank you for your invitation, and thank you for your willingness to take part in the political process that we have in place. What has happened around us, it's a big tragedy when we see school children die in the hand of a person who should never have been able to gain access to a gun. Just to show our sensitivity to the tragedy, and to the families, and to the victims, and to the beloved ones. As much as we love our freedom and the ownership of our guns and support the Second Amendment, let's show respect by taking a moment of silence for those who lost their lives in the hands of those criminals who are giving us all this headache here today. Thank you. If we do a comparison of California and the United States with other countries, such as Switzerland, that everybody at the age of 18 must carry a gun, must know how to use a gun, must have a gun at home, and compare the level of violence in Switzerland compared to any other nation, you find out that almost does not exist any kind of criminal act. Why is that? Simply because you wouldn't come my home because you'll be faced with a Smith & Wesson.
Bravo.
Why is it that in the country of Israel, when somebody gets on a bus carrying an M16, nobody pays attention because somebody else is also carrying an M16? What does it tell us? I know they live in a nature different than ours. The whole country has to be faced with different violence than we do here because of their neighbors. But why we're so ready to jump on a tragedy based on emotions and want to now introduce bills? I was going to go over the bills, but Sam did a great job introducing them. Why is that? What does it mean for me, an owner and a carrier license, with a license to carry concealed weapon, that I have to have a liability for what? To make insurance companies wealthier than they are? Who's going to get away with it? The same people who should not have access to guns, not us, the respectful members of this great nation of ours. It doesn't work. And why do we call it weapons and assault weapon? Why is a machine gun any different than any other? The knife in your kitchen can become an assault weapon. When you're using your cell phone and texting at the same time and you run over somebody, kill them, that's an assault weapon. What's the difference between a machine gun that we want to take it away from the folks because it puts up more bullets in a minute or a second than others, when we know that speed kills? We have a speed limit on our freeways and highways, 55, 65, 70, whatever it might be. Why are we still manufacturing Corvettes and Ferraris? Why are we allowing to be on our roads?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
No.
It doesn't. So it's all based on emotions. And I personally have failed anytime I have said something out of madness or made a decision when I was at the lowest that I could have been. And that's what's going on around us. That we want to jump. It's a popularity contest. It's a shame. The problem, when we have the tragedy, the smart decision makers will take a step back and want to put their finger on the pulse of the problem. And what the problem is, as what's been happening going on, as I said before, are the people who have never gained access to a gun.
Yes.
Our mentally ill. So what are we doing to take care of those who are mentally ill? Why are we jumping on the same bandwagon to say, what are we going to do to those who really need our help? It's unfortunate they use the gun to kill people. They could have used the knife. They could have driven their car into a structure and killed people. A semi with 16-wheeler going on the freeway, it's a big weapon if you put it to the wrong use. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let this momentum go backward. We need your help. If anything, super virus, we're super minority at the Capitol. But that's not stopping us. As I said, a few of us got together, invited Sam to educate our staff as how to respond to those who are all over us, to say, be sure you support those bills that Sam talked about. Another nickel on the bullet, a liability insurance, and the list goes on. They have the momentum, but shame of us if we don't beat them up in their own courses.
Yes.
Next time you come together, be sure you bring a friend. This number has to increase. And it doesn't stop here. And it doesn't stop at our level. We need you more than ever before to help us maintain our freedom, to help us bring common sense to the lawmakers to help us educate as what the Second Amendment is about. And that the freedom that's given to us to make those decisions here did not come free. And to gain what we have, yes, it took guns, it took fights, it took wars. Let's not go backward. We need to move forward. Speaking of putting the finger on the pulse of the problem, there are ways to educate others. That's how we store guns. Those of us here don't need that education, but obviously there are those out there that need to have a better education in order not to give us a bad image. And we can do that. We're willing to do that. But on a final note, I wrote this down because I didn't want to mess up the words. It made so much sense when I was preparing myself to talk to another group as why I am pro-guns. As why, if you look at my voting record, it will speak for itself. And that's why every time I run for office, I'm very proud to say that NRA has supported me.
Good.
Here's a thought that hopefully we can capitalize on it and you go home with it. It goes, in a society of wolves, you do not fight back by creating more sheep.
Bravo.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me. Hope to see you around and hope to see you at the Capitol.
Folks, as your lobbyist in the state